Talking a little NFL draft, we talked about the Caitlin Clark performance, a little UConn USC. Maybe we dive back later. I don't know, but we'll get to the mail sack at 8:15. And so we were talking some NFL draft. Conley ran numbers, and I love just reading this stuff. And like, imagine you're a Washington Commander fan. Okay, it's a dark world you live in, by the way. You have the number 2 pick in the draft, and it looks like you're going to draft a quarterback who is being comped to Tommy DeVito. It might.
I love that's so funny. That's such a great
it might
comp.
not be Tommy DeVito. He's
know.
not saying he thinks he's going to be. Just like, hey, this is kind of what the numbers are suggesting.
Yeah.
And that's a terrifying feeling. I largely agree with you. I disagree with you on Caleb. I think Caleb is awesome. I think there are things about Caleb that just kind of special, just different. And so I have no hang-ups on taking him. Every other one of those quarterbacks makes me so nervous that I'm like, I think I'm hoping that my team at 2 just addresses a positional need or trades the hell out of it.
Yeah.
Give me assets.
Yeah. If you're a top 5 picker, that would be the way to go.
Bo Nix was put onto this list.
Okay, who do we get a comp as?
Nix is very interesting. So his best prospect comp is Bailey Zappi.
Okay.
And Trevor Lawrence.
It's not bad.
Okay.
All right.
He said, I would say that describe Nix's range pretty appropriately. Both threw at least 29% of their passes at or behind the line of scrimmage. Nix was at 31%.
Mm-hmm.
This is for his career, by the way, not just Oregon.
I mean, they threw a lot behind the line of scrimmage.
Both got the ball in their hands quickly, like Nix did at Oregon. Both escaped pressure with quick passing. Both were safe from interception perspectives.
Mm-hmm.
The difference between those two, of course, is the upside. Nix's measurables aren't Lawrence's, 6'2" versus 6'6", but they're certainly better than Zappi. His best pro comp is Mike White and Tyson Bagent.
Tyson Bagent.
I think why I liked it so much was just the obscure names thrown onto these lists.
Hey, Mike White was a good backup for a while.
He said, White, again, if Nix is a 10-year backup, nobody's going to go, what a ball. I'm like, no, what a great career.
People will say that.
Why?
But the reality
he might be a second-round quarterback.
I know. The reality is that's a great career to be a backup quarterback for 10 years in the NFL.
White and Bagent were 2 players who came up looking when looking for quarterbacks with under 7 air yards per attempt, a 62 completion rate or higher, a 4% interception rate or lower, and solid escapability numbers in the form of a 20% sacks to pressures ratio. Basically highlighting that, I know it became a knock, but checks down, he escapes when he needs to, good completion percentage, but not wildly that impressive.
Yeah.
He mentioned some of his downfield numbers. He said, so what's hard for Nix is, unfortunately, the Auburn stuff exists. But he said in 2 years at Oregon, everything was different. In an efficiency-heavy system with a great run game, Nix became the best nibbler in college football. He averaged just 6.4 air yards per attempt and 2.6 seconds, per pass in 2022-2023. He completed 75% of his passes with an outstanding 87.3 QBR. So his unique traits, we know what they are. That's his pro comps, Mike White, Tyson Bagent.
I would say the unique thing for Nix, now who knows how this all plays out in a couple of weeks when it's draft night. If you do end up falling a little bit, I don't know where he's going to go. There's mocks that have him going 12 to all the way to the second round. Who the hell knows?
I feel like, and you might be right there. I don't mean to interrupt you. The 12, I don't feel like 12 is accurate anymore. It feels like he's very back into first, but largely a second pick.
Totally fair. But also then you get to draft night, and there could be a run on quarterbacks earlier, and you're like, crap, we got to go get one. All the other guys are off the board. Let's panic and go make a rash move. Like, you just never know how the draft's going to play out. If he does end up going later, being a nibbler is okay. Like, that's what Brock Purdy is. Now, Brock Purdy has incredible touch. He has incredible accuracy. I think his football IQ is through the roof. I think he's a really smart, cerebral player. Jed York did an interview recently, and he talked about, and it was great to hear the honesty, where he acknowledged how lucky they are. That they just happened to find this dude in the 7th round.
They should have been punished.
They should have been punished. They made a horrible mistake drafting Trey Lance, who was not ready, played 1 year of college football. He's now a third stringer in Dallas. He's probably never going to see a starting gig in his NFL career. He just doesn't have it. And they used the 3rd overall pick in a draft in which they could have got Patrick Mahomes, a year earlier, whenever that was. It was a massive mistake on their part. Then they got super lucky, and Brock Purdy went to a situation where he doesn't have to be everything. I don't have to throw 47 touchdown passes. I don't have to convert third and longs on every drive because we can run the football. I don't have to score 35 points a game because we have a good defense. I don't have to, run for my life because I have a good offensive line. I don't have to always throw guys open because I got guys who can get open on their own and they're elite wide receivers and elite targets. Like, he went to a great spot. And so the knock on Nix has largely been he's a nibbler, he's a check down guy, he doesn't throw the ball downfield a ton, which some of the numbers do back that up. I think the pro number for him that I would like is his completion percentage and rate against pressure was one of the best in all of college football, if not the best. Like, he was elite against pressure this last year, so I love that sign. And I think it's great for him if he falls. It's horrible financially, sure. It's a little embarrassing, yeah. But, dude, if you end up going, like, back half of the second round to a team that's in a good position, maybe you don't play right away in year one, I would be thrilled if I were Bo Nix instead of going to the Raiders drafting you with a top 10 pick and you're like, all right, dude, go save our franchise. Good luck with that.
Well, that's the difficult thing about picking these quarterbacks, because there's Vegas odds say 4 quarterbacks and Harrison Jr. are the favorites in the top 5.
Yeah.
Which, God bless you on J.J. McCarthy. I will stand firm, planted flag. I'm out. And maybe I'll be way wrong, and he will be awesome. I'm out on that. Penix is interesting. He's Locke and Ryan Finley as prospect comps. Pro comps are Matt Barkley and Mahomes.
That's a wide array there.
Wide scale.
If we can end up somewhere in the middle there, you're gonna have a good NFL career.
I don't know where the majority of people listening would say they're at on Penix and Nix.
Nobody knows. That's the reality.
Yeah, I mean, it's all a guess. But what I would say on both, and I find it interesting, it's being used as a negative. I was listening to an NFL podcast yesterday, and they were talking about Penix and Daniels and a little Nix. And it was interesting because I guess I hadn't really thought about it this way. Everybody talks about Penix and Nix, and what do they say? Well, Penix has been injured, and he's old. Nix has been in college forever, and he's old. It's a negative. It's almost like a net negative because that's a thing. Hey, they played till they were 24, almost 25. I don't know about that. And May is younger. So it's like Drake May, he's only this age.
He's only 21 years old.
21 years old. A counter to that would be, why is it not looked at as a positive that Nix and Penix both showed you that they can struggle, but they've learned multiple systems in their college careers and got better. And I hadn't really thought about it that way of like, it's age. They're old. Oh, they've been injured before. Oh, he had to transfer from Auburn. He was terrible at Auburn. Like, these are negatives. And it's certainly going to impact their draft stock. They may both go in the second round. Why is it not a positive?
Experience and, yeah.
Well, but why? The evidence is that they could get better. They showed they got better. Drake May, I don't know. Jaden Daniels, you could say the same thing about him with Nix and Penix. He went from ASU, which was utter trash, and Herm Edwards, to LSU, okay, kind of a Joe Burrow-esque first year, and then boom, I'm a Heisman winner. These should be looked at as positives in my mind, and I hadn't thought about that till yesterday. And I'm like, yeah, Penix played in multiple systems, 2 at Indiana, I believe, and 1 at UW, and got better. And Nix did the same thing. He was very mediocre at Auburn, run-of-the-mill, run quarterback who couldn't pass. Boom, 78% completion percentage, 80%, whatever it was, and leading a very good Oregon team for 2 years. I don't know why those aren't looked as positives, whereas, like, I don't know. How is Drake May going to get better? Is he going to get better?
It's a question mark. He's 21 years old. He might not. This might be the ceiling, and you're taking a major risk on a guy like that. I agree completely with what you're saying. I wouldn't use that as a knock at all against either of those guys. I'm pretty sure Bo, at the end of his career, I think in 5 years, had a different offensive coordinator every year he was in college. I know in his 2 years at Oregon he did, and I'm pretty sure Auburn flip-flop guys every season.
How'd that work out for Alex Smith?
Right? Like, just
we
different
saw
OC,
what that can
different
do.
OC,
Yes.
different OC, new system, and now Oregon's was, a lot of the terminology and scheme was
Sure.
the same, but, it is a different guy calling plays. I also, though, to the flip side of that, I wouldn't use it as a negative against Drake May. Like, I think I would go to the place of he's 6'4", 6'4.5", whatever, 225, 230 pounds. He's got everything you need from a physical standpoint, and as long as he continues to develop, like what would we say about him if he remained in college for 2 more years? Maybe he's putting up Heisman Trophy numbers, and he's the lock to be the number 1 overall pick. Now, to your point, it could be a negative. Maybe he doesn't improve anymore.
He didn't have the greatest second year with the hype
but he's
around
also played 2 years of college football, and these guys got 5.
Yeah.
And there's a big difference between that and the level of expertise and all the handling of all of it. So I wouldn't use it to knock against either of them. I like the experience. I like what you've been through. But for May, there's also, I think, a lot of room to grow.
For sure there is. But NFL teams aren't sure if he will grow. That's the tough thing. He has to grow in the NFL.
Yeah.
These guys at least grew in college. Now, will they be a pro prospect? That's great. I don't know. But all of this is just fascinating to me because there's so many big decisions to be made, and everything hinges on, is this guy good?
Yeah.
There's evidence both ways. And even at number 1, there's certainly questions.
Reality tells us all these guys are going to be busts.
I know.
Reality tells us all of them will suck in the NFL.
And what do NFL teams keep doing?
Take them in the top 5.
Yeah, exactly.